Hello students, in this video I'm going to explain the water cycle or the hydrological cycle of the earth. So what does this water cycle or the hydrological cycle means? Okay, the water cycle actually describes the continuous movement of water on, above and below the surface of the earth. Okay, so the water cycle actually explains or describes the continuous movement of the water on, above and below the surface of the earth. First, at the initial stage of the process, actually water vapors are formed. How? Due to evaporation. Okay, how the evaporation is occurring when the heat of the sun is falling on the water bodies. It leads to the formation of this water vapor. Okay, the water vapor being lighter rises up and gets converted again into tiny droplets of water coming in contact with the cold upper atmosphere, and this process is known as the convection. Condensation. Then what happens? These tiny particles or the droplets gets clinged or attached to the dust particles that are present on the atmosphere and ultimately forms the cloud, or the cloud formation takes place. Many such droplets join together to form the larger droplets of water. If they rise further cooling takes place and turns them into small ice crystals. When they become very heavy, they fall on the ground as rain or snow, and we call them as precipitation. The rainwater seeps into the ground and returns to the sea as ground water, river or streams. And this total cyclic process is known as the hydrological cycle. And this process passed through three phase states: liquid, gaseous and solid state. Okay, so what is this hydrological cycle or the water cycle? In short, if I say, it actually describes the continuous movement of the water on and above and below the surface water. First, at the initial process starts with the evaporation. When the sun rays fall on the water bodies, then it turns the water into water vapor. Then this water vapor, it is lighter in nature, it rises up. Once it rises up, and then it gets converted into tiny droplets of water. How it is getting converted into this tiny droplets of the water? Because it comes in contact with the cool upper atmosphere, and this cool upper atmosphere is leading to this formation of this tiny droplets of the water. Okay, and this process we are calling it as the condensation. Then all the tiny particle droplets are getting attached to this dust particles, and then it is leading to the formation of the clouds. Okay, so when the clouds have become heavier with the droplets of the water, then what is happening at that point of the time, this water droplets fall on the ground as the rain or the snow, and we call that process as the precipitation. And when the rainfall takes place, at that point of the time, the rain seeps into the ground. Over here it is said now a continuous movement of the water on, above and below. So on means it is talking about the rivers and all the water bodies that are present on the land surface. Above means it is talking about the precipitations form and the condensation forms, and below means it is actually talking about the groundwater. So it moves through these three processes in the three circles, and also from the liquid, solid and the gaseous state, and we call them as the water cycle. So this is the end of this video. I'll continue in the next other portion next video. Thank you everyone.